Welcome to Politics News Wolf US channel. While Russia against Ukraine war continues, Ukrainian military officials warn of Russia's spring attacks. Tensions rise on the border between Ukraine and Belarus since Russia's invasion attempt on the morning of February 24. Digital media writer together with military units have traveled to southwestern border of Belarus around northwestern. Ukraine shares an area of 1,000 kilometers with Belarus, which played an effective role of Russia's invasion attempts. Frederick Plack from the media team was 100 meters from the Ukrainian site, where during the carefully organized and seriously observed press tour, they saw that the border areas of the BN state were surrounded by barbed wire. The Ukrainian side of the border is surrounded by barbed wire and earth mounts to prevent non-ST from crossing. Berian administration said that the border area around them in the town of Devon is open to passage, but the Ukrainian side does not allow passage, fearing the Belarus could be used for further invasion by Russia. Kiev has closed all border crossings into Belarus. Expect to allow the occasional entry of Ukrainian refugees wishing to return to their home. Anton Bykowski, spokesman for the Belarusian State Border Committee, said that there may be tensions at the border where there may be a large number of provocations by Ukrainian military units. Last year we recorded more than 400 examples of such initiatives. Ukrainian forces have occasionally sailed to the border with Belarus violating its airspace. Individual members of the European Union supported Estonia's investments proposal for the joint supply of ammunition for Ukraine's needs. A decision on the issue may be taken at the EU summit next month. This week, Estonia proposed that European Union countries invest around €4 billion to join the supply. The 1 million rounds of ammunition in Ukraine needs this year to repel the Russian invasion. The proposal received preliminary support from the Netherlands and Romania. EU foreign ministers are expected to discuss the plan when they meet in Brussels on Monday, and the final decision could be taken at a summit in. In addition, the joint arms purchase could be supported by France, whose prime minister has considered such a possibility as part of his call to accelerate armed supplies to Ukraine, and Poland, which has announced the formation of a coalition to finance it. While tons of thousands of ammunition is being depleted every day on the Ukrainian and Russian sites, the decrease in ammunition stocks causes great concern in the. Although Ukraine uses ammunition more efficiently, it is depleting it faster than Europe can produce. Currently, the US and EU are trying to increase production both to supply Ukraine and to replenish their own reserves. At the same time, British Defence Secretary Bound Voss claims that the lack of ammunition is not a strategic problem for Ukraine's Western All. On the other hand, an official warned last night that tons of millions of people will face the worst famine in centuries unless Vladimir Putin signs a new arrangement allowing grain-carrying ships to leave Ukraine safely. World Food Programme Director David Bazai has issued a serious warning to the Kremlin amid growing fears that Moscow will reinstate its blockade of Ukraine. There are currently 9 Russian warships launching attacks from the Black Sea. However, they do all allow the safe passage of grain vessels after an agreement with the UN and Turkey last July. This meant that 18 million tons of grain and other foodstuffs could be shipped from Ukraine, which supplies 1/10 of the world's feed. But there are concerns that the deal will not be renewed once it expires next month. Urgent talks to extend it are due to begin this week, but a 10th showdown is expected after the Kremlin signaled dissatisfaction with some aspects of the deal and asked for sanctions affecting its own agricultural exports to be lifted. Last night, Mr. Beasley described the situation as critical and warned Moscow that closing Ukrainian ports will have disastrous consequences on the global food supply. With old crisis we are facing all over the world, such as change throat flash foods, we can in no way risk the failure of the Black Sea Grain Initiative. Africa is very fragile right now. 50 million people are knocking on the door of famine, food prices, fuel costs, debt inflation, and 3 years of COVID. People are no longer able to cope, and if we don't act and cut costs, then 2024, may be the worst year we have seen in several hundred years, Mr. Biz voiced warnings in an interview on the sidelines of the mini-Secura type. Sunk urged leaders to send the most advanced NATO standard weapons to Ukraine to secure the country's future. Sunk said at the conference that the Allies should show Ukraine that we will stand by them. We are willing and able to help them defend their country. The Prime Minister's three remarks come amid concerns that Russia has stepped up its offensive in eastern Ukraine alongside another move to seize the fierce contested town of Bemua, marking the anniversary of Russia's invasion on Friday 3 days ago. Putin will make keynote speech and Ukrainian leaders will warn that he's playing a measure attack. Officials in Kharkiv, Ukraine's second-largest city, just 25 miles from the border, say bombings and shelling have increased. In recent days, the enemy's effectiveness has increased slightly. Some forces are accumulating, said Brigade General. A local commander, one person was killed in a swamp and 2 people in their 50s were seriously injured in a series of attacks that took place yesterday in the Kharkiv. Residents and troops in frontline areas told the Mail on Sunday that the past few days have witnessed some of the heaviest attacks in months. Houses are on fire, dogs are haul, said an old woman named Kupang, which was liberated from Russian occupation 5 months ago. There were a lot of hits yesterday and the day before this week was the scariest one. Russia should not have come to this when Putin was first elected. Russia had the support of the Western world and educated population with a higher literacy rate than the United States. Enormous natural resources, a fully built industrial base, and a rich cultural history. Had Russia been properly managed, it could not have a modern and large economy on the same level as Germany or Japan. Instead, the Russian economy has been gutted and is about the same size as the state of New York. This is because Putin and his nearly 1,000 supporters stole at least $1 trillion from the Russian state over a 22-year period. This is money that should be spent on hospitals, schools, roads, and other public services. Instead, it was spent on the AX, private planes, and ERS, and deposited in foreign bank accounts. Thank you for watching the video. If you find it useful, please comment and share the video for us. It will make our channel more known. See you in the following videos. Thank you very much.